Sometimes there's the eclipse hangover, and sometimes the story just keeps unfolding. In the wake of the eclipse, we have another stack of notable planetary phenomenon worth mentioning. And the first player is Mercury. So we know Mercury is in Libra. Mercury is in Libra is trying to like be kind, be appropriate, be fair, be graceful. But Mercury's coming into a square with Mars on October 6th. And normally that would be a very cutting transit, even maybe like poisonous, direct to the point. But both of these planets are kind of in like sidestepping signs. Mars is in Cancer. So that's kind of like avoidant, kind of passive aggressive. So you want to be able to read between the lines on this transit. Like there are going to be digs that are not necessarily direct. There may be kind of roundabout ways of saying something, but the goal is to kind of course correct or offer criticism or offer constructive feedback, but trying to go about it in a way that is gentle, trying to go about it in a way that doesn't upset or offend anyone. But yet, things do need to be said with this. So, this can also be a moment of trying to be demure, but like blurting something out. So, pay attention to that on the 6th. Mercury is also in a trine with Jupiter at this time on the 8th. So, this is where we get a little bit more of that outspokenness. So, we're trying to say it nicely again, but Jupiter's like, I'm just going to give it to him straight. I'm going to tell the truth. It may be a little dramatic, maybe a little opinionated, and it may not be fully factual either. That's the thing we got to keep in mind with this. So, something I've been talking a lot about with folks with all this eclipse energy in Libra is a quote from my grandfather, which is, "It's none of my business what anyone thinks of me." And this is coming from a Sag guy. Like he don't care what other people think about him. And for those of us that do tend to care a lot more, it's words of wisdom to live by. It's none of my business what anyone else thinks of me. So keep that in mind as we're coming off of this Libra eclipse and we're getting these kind of like dagger throwing Mercury transits here in our dialogue. But that could also show up as just like shocking developments, big reveals, like people kind of talking like saying things that they shouldn't, okay? Saying things that they would regret in a world stage setting. The other thing that kind of adds to this is that Jupiter is stationary at this time. So Jupiter is loud. Jupiter is very loud. Jupiter stations retrograde on October 9th at 21 degrees Gemini. So that's as far up as Jupiter gets. Jupiter is going to retrograde all the way back to, let's see here, 11 degrees of Gemini, and that will be in February, early February. So if you have planets between 11 degrees and 21 degrees of Gemini, or any of the mutable or any of the air signs, lucky you, because this means that you get multiple hits from Jupiter in Gemini. This could be really stimulating in terms of wanting to expand your knowledge and learn new things. I've been seeing a lot of people traveling. I'm kind of jealous, but so good. Like this is the perfect time to travel right now. Jupiter in Gemini, make it educational. But with Jupiter stationing, that can often be a very spiritual time and a time of wanting to connect with something bigger than yourself or wanting to just broaden your horizons. This will also be a big moment for Jupiter and Gemini topics. I have a whole 2-hour webinar on Jupiter and Gemini available on my website. It is on sale. So go over there and get it because that's talking about not just Jupiter and Gemini, but all the things that this transit is bringing out. So get the full scoop over there or check one of my shorter astrology shots on that. But Jupiter and Gemini stuff, yeah, just the quick pace of media and the ways stories can flip and change and How if you say something enough times that's a lie, it can kind of sound like the truth, but not everyone's going to buy it. So those things are going to be important at that time. The final piece of this is that Pluto is going to be stationing direct for the final time ever in the sign of Capricorn on October 11th at 29 degrees Capricorn and 38 minutes, the very tail end of Capricorn. After this, it's going to go forth for about another month and we are done. We have passed that collective test. I don't know how well we did, but we are done. I know lots of cardinal signs who are thrilled and will be throwing a party when that happens. But this is stationing at a crisis degree. There is a moment of emphasis here at and I did a huge, like a longer video on this just recently about Pluto's last visit to Capricorn. But like I am looking at it as like the dismal hellscape of corporate land that we live in, like how disconnected from nature we've become. And not to say that progress isn't valuable or important and absolutely has its place, but there's just like this corporate gray washing of existence that really sucks. We're also going to see Pluto represent like power grabs for power, people pushing the power. We've been seeing that with the Supreme Court, just like unchecked limits of what people think that they can get away with. That is going to be emphasized here under Pluto. So note, if you have anything at 29 degrees, you'll be feeling that too. So that's a little bit about what's on the other side of eclipse season. So it still looks eventful. It should continue to be eventful, at least until we get to the next lunation, and then we'll get a new set of themes to work with. But for right now, this is your astrology shot of the day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye! Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also head on over to my website, catherineurban.com, where you can book your next astrology reading. We'll go into depth into your natal chart, your progressions, your profections, your solar return, your transits, and beyond. You can also join my mailing list where you can stay up to date with me on new classes as well as article drops. I look forward to connecting with you, and I'll see you next time.